Hello and welcome in this online video lecture series for the subject CE 303, that is surveying. So in the previous video we started the unit number 4 of our syllabus, that is curves. So in the first video we saw that what are curves, why curves are needed, what are the different types of curves. We saw that basically curves are of two types, that is vertical curves and horizontal curves. After that we saw that horizontal curve can be further classified as simple circular curve, compound curve, reverse curve, lemniscate curve and transition curve. We also saw that what is the difference between all these curves and how these curves are used in civil engineering. After that we started in detail the simple circular curve. So in the second video we saw different notations such as tangent length, apex distance, burst sign of the curve and many other notations which are used in simple circular curve. So we saw their calculations, how they are calculated, and different derivations, how all these definitions or notations are calculated in a given simple circular curve. After that we solved a numerical based on these notations, and I also told you that this numerical based on the notations of simple circular curve is very important from your university examination point of view. After that we move to the new topic of this unit, that is the setting out of curve. So we saw different methods such as offset from long chord, offsets from radial offsets and various other methods in detail about the setting of curve. So in this video we will move to our next type of curve, that is compound curve. So in this video we will study in detail about the compound curve, that what is compound curve, how compound curve is different from simple circular curve, and what are the different notations used in compound curve and how all these notations are calculated. After that we will also solve a numerical based on compound curve. We will also see transition curve and vertical curves in detail in this video. So let us move to our video. So first we will see the basic definition about compound curve, that what is compound curve. So when a curve consists of two or more arcs with different radii, it is called as compound curve. जब जो हमारा कर्व है वो अलग अलग आर्क से होगा जिनका रेडियस अलग अलग होगा, जो दोनों आर्क्स हैं उन दोनों का रेडियस will be different. So when a curve consists of two or more arcs with different radii, it is called as compound curve. Such a curve lies on the same side of a common tangent and the centers of different arcs lie on the same side of their respective tangent. अभी जो compound curve है ये एक common tangent होगा इसका. So अगर हम इस कर्व में देखें, so this is a common tangent, ये जो tangent है D T2E, this tangent, this is common for both these arcs. This is smaller arc or small curve and this is larger. So we can see that this tangent D T2E is a common tangent for both these arcs and their centers, that is O1 and this center. Both these are the centers for the two curves. So the centers of the different arcs lie on the same side of their respective tangents. ये जो दोनों के सेंटर हैं दोनों कर्व्स के ये सेम साइड पे होंगे उनके टेंजेंट के. So when a curve consists of two or more arcs with different radii, it is called a compound curve. Such a curve lies on the same side of a common tangent. ये जो कर्व है इनके सेंटर सेम साइड पे हैं कॉमन टेंजेंट के, and the centers of different arcs lie on the same side of their respective tangents. When it is not possible to connect the two tangents by one circular curve, it becomes necessary to take a common tangent and set out two curves or different radii to connect the rear and forward tangents. This curve is known as compound curve. जब पॉसिबल नहीं होता सिंपल सर्कुलर कर्व जो हमने लास्ट वीडियो में पढ़ा था, तो इसी कंडीशन में हम कंपाउंड कर्व को हम अप्लाई करते हैं या फिर कंपाउंड कर्व को हम यूज करते हैं. सो व्हेन इट इज नॉट पॉसिबल टू कनेक्ट द टू टेंजेंट्स बाय वन सर्कुलर कर्व, जब एक सर्कुलर कर्व से टेंजेंट्स को कनेक्ट नहीं कर पाएंगे तो उस केस में हम कंपाउंड कर्व का यूज करेंगे. It becomes necessary to take a common tangent and set out two curves or different radii to connect the rear and forward tangents. Such type of curve is called as compound curve. So you can see that this is the compound curve which consists of different arcs of different radius. So as we saw different notations which were used in simple circular curve, so similarly we have different notations which are used in compound curves. So first of all we will see that what are these notations, and we will see them in these curve also. So first is the AB, that is the rear tangent. So you can see in this diagram that this is AB, here we are having is A, and here we are having B. So this is a rear tangent similar to the simple circular curve. After that we are having BC. BC is the forward tangent. So this is B, there I have marked B, and here it is C. So BC is the forward tangent. After that we have D. D is a common tangent. So as I told you, in compound curve both these different two curves are having a common tangent, that is D. So in this figure you can see that this is the common tangent, this is D and it is common tangent. After that we are having is phi, that is a deflection angle between rear and forward tangent. So all these we have seen in simple circular curve also. So here phi is the deflection angle from which the tangents are deflecting. So here you can see that this is phi, it is a deflection angle between rear and forward tangent. After that phi 1 is a deflection angle between rear and common tangent. So this is the angle, this is phi 1, this is the angle between rear and common tangent. Similarly we are having phi 2. So phi 2 is a deflection angle between common tangent and forward tangent. So here you can see that this is phi 2, this is phi 2. So this is the angle between common tangent and forward tangent. After that O1 is the center of short curve. So here this we are having is a short curve, this curve is the short curve, and the center of this curve is this. So this is O1. So here you can see that the center of short curve is O1. After that we are having is O2. So O2 is the center of long curve. So similarly we are having this long curve, the curve on right hand side, this is the long curve. So the center of this is here O2. So O2 is the center of long curve. Similarly RS is the radius of short curve. So as I told you, on left hand side we are having short curve. So RS is the radius of short curve. This is the RS, is the radius of short curve. Similarly we are having the radius of long curve. So this RL is the radius of long curve. Okay. After that T1 and T2 are tangent point for short curve. So this is these are tangent point. This T1 is for short curve, tangent point for short curve, and T2 and T3 are tangent point for long curve. So this T1, this T2 and T3 are the tangent point for long curve. After that we are having TS. So TS is the total length of shortest side, that is BT1. So this small TS. TL is the total length of longer side, that is BT3. After that we are having a small TS, that is the tangent length of short curve, and we are having TL, that is the tangent length of long curve. So here we are having, this is small TS, and this we are having is small TL, and this we are having the capital TL and capital TS. So TS, capital TS is the total tangent length of shortest side, tangent length on the side of short curve, and TL is the total length of longer side. Similarly we are having small TS and small TL, that is tangent length of short curve and tangent length of long curve. So basically in this slide we have seen the different notations which are used in the compound curve and where these are locating in this diagram. So now we'll see different notations how these are calculated. So first which we are having is a total deflection angle. So as I told you earlier also that phi, this phi will be equals to phi 1 plus phi 2. This angle is we are having is phi 1, this angle is phi 1, and this angle is phi 2. Okay, and this angle we are having is phi. Okay, so we can see that phi equals to phi 1 plus phi 2. How it is equal? By using exterior angle theorem. So by applying exterior angle theorem we can see that total angle phi will be equals to phi 1 plus phi 2. After that we are having capital TS, that how we can calculate capital TS. So capital TS will be equals to BD plus DT1. So this we are having is BD. Capital TS is this distance, and this capital TS will be equals to BD plus DT1. This is small distance. So this I can write as BD, and this is small TS, the tangent length for small curve. So this can be written as BD plus a small TS. So if I will calculate, if I will apply the sine rule in this triangle, that is BDE. So by applying sine rule we can see that this BD. Here we are having the side BD. So BD and the angle opposite to this, that is phi 2. So we will take BD upon sine phi 2. After that we are having DE. So DE upon this angle will be equal to 180 minus phi, and sine 180 minus phi is sine phi. So I can write BD as DE into sine phi 2 upon sine phi, plus as this is a tangent length for this curve, so that will be equals to r tan phi by 2. So this will be equals to DE into sine phi by 2 plus rs tan phi 1 by 2. Similarly, if we will apply the same formula on the right hand side, that is for the bigger curve, so I will get capital TL. So capital TL will be equals to BE plus E T3. So that will be equals to BE plus small TL. This we are having as B, this is B, and this is small TL, this is small TL. So TL, capital TL will be equals to B plus ET3, that will be equals to B plus small TL. Again, by applying sine rule, B can be written as D into sine phi 1 upon sine phi plus RL into tan phi 2 by 2. So in this slide we have calculated the three notations, that is first one is phi, so phi equals to phi 1 plus phi 2. After that we are having TS, so TS equals to D into sine phi 2 by sine phi plus rs tan phi 1 by 2. Similarly we are having TL, so TL is equals to D into sine phi 1 by sine phi plus RL into tan phi 2 upon 2. Now we will see some more notations. So the fourth one is common tangent. So as I told you, both these curve, the two different arcs that we are having in the compound curve, so both them are having some common tangent. So for both these two curves we are having this common tangent, that is DE. This is the common tangent. So if I want to calculate the length of this common tangent, so how I can calculate this? I can calculate by adding TS plus TL. How? Why? Because I have seen the property of circle that this will be equal if this dt1 is small ts, this dt1 is small ts, so this dt2 will also be small ts, this side will also be a small ts. Similarly, if I will take this triangle, so if this side is TL, then similarly this ET2 will also be TL. This is a property of circle. So if I want to calculate this D, so I will write D equals to TS plus TL, and in the previous slide we have seen that small ts equals to rs into tan phi 1 by 2 plus RL into tan phi 2 by 2. So in this way you can add both these tangent lengths and you can calculate the value of this common tangent, that is the length of this common tangent that we are having as D in our figure. So now we'll move to the fifth one, that is the curve length. So we have seen in the last video also that the curve length is calculated by using the formula of angle, that is angle equals to arc upon radius. So we will use the angle here, and for the short curve as phi 1 and for the long curve as phi 2. So the formula for curve length will become as phi rs upon phi 1 upon 180. This we have converted the angle in degrees. So you will get the formula for curve length for short curve as phi rs phi 1 upon 180. Similarly for long curve, the length of curve will be, that is phi RL into phi 2 upon 180. So in this way we have calculated the three notations, that is first is a common tangent, second one is curve length, and the last one, that is sixth one, is the curve length for the long curve. Now we have the chainage for different points. So chainage of T1 equals to chainage of B minus capital TS. So this we have seen in the last video also, that how we calculated chainage of tangent point, first tangent point. So that was equals to the chainage of intersection point minus tangent length. So in our compound curve, this will become as chainage of T1 will be equals to chainage of B, that is the chainage of intersection point, minus this capital TS. This we are having as a capital TS. Similarly, when it comes for T2, this point is T2. So chainage of T2 will be equals to chainage of T1 plus short curve length. If I want to calculate this, the chainage of T2, this point, so this will be equals to chainage of T1 plus this length of short curve. This is the short curve. So chainage of T2 will be equals to chainage of T1 plus short curve length. Similarly, when it comes to T3, so chainage of T3 will be equals to chainage of T2 plus length of long curve length or long curve length. So in this way we have calculated the change for all these 3 points. That is, first is for the change of T1. So change of T1 equals to change of B minus Ts. Change of T2 equals to change of T1 plus short curve length. Similarly, change of T3 equals to change of T2 plus long curve length. So now we have the next type of curve, that is the transition curve. So why transition curve are used, that I have told you already in the previous video. So what is transition curve? A curve of varying radius is known as transition curve. एक ऐसा कर्व जिसका रेडियस वेरी होता है, ऐसे कर्व को मैं बोलता हूँ ट्रांजिशन कर्व. So the radius of such a curve varies from infinity to a certain fixed value. जो ट्रांजिशन कर्व है उसका जो रेडियस होता है वो इन्फिनिटी से एक फिक्स वैल्यू तक वेरी होता है. बाय बिकॉज स्ट्रेट लाइन का जो रेडियस होता है वो इन्फिनिटी होता है. सो द रेडियस ऑफ सच अ कर्व वेरीज फ्रॉम इन्फिनिटी टू अ सर्टेन फिक्स्ड वैल्यू. अ ट्रांजिशन कर्व इज प्रोवाइडेड ऑन बोथ साइड्स ऑफ अ सर्कुलर कर्व. ट्रांजिशन कर्व जो है वो सर्कुलर साइड के दोनों साइड्स पे दोनों एंड्स पे प्रोवाइड किया जाता है. अ ट्रांजिशन कर्व इज प्रोवाइडेड ऑन बोथ एंड्स ऑफ अ सर्कुलर curve. The curvature varies from 0 at the tangent point to a definite value just at the junction with the circular curve. Curvature की वैल्यू जो है वो 0 होती है टेंजेंट पॉइंट पर जहाँ से कर्व स्टार्ट हो रहा है, एंड टू अ डेफिनेट वैल्यू जस्ट एट द जंक्शन विद द सर्कुलर कर्व. ट्रांजिशन कर्व्स आर प्रोवाइडेड इन रेलवे ट्रैक्स टू इंश्योर सेफ रनिंग ऑफ ट्रेन्स. ट्रांजिशन कर्व जो है सेफ्टी पर्पस के लिए प्रोवाइड किया जाता है ऑन रेलवे ट्रैक्स. So transition curves are provided for the following reasons. That what are the reasons that why we are providing the transition curve? So that all we'll see. First is that to provide a super elevation gradually from 0 at the tangent point to the specified amount on the circular curve. As I told you in the last video that why super elevation is provided. So super elevation is provided to counterbalance the centrifugal force that is caused on the circular path. So to provide the super elevation gradually from 0 at the tangent point to the specified amount on the circular curve, we provide the transition curve. This was one of the reason. The next reason is to maintain a constant proportion between super elevation and rate of change of curvature. Next is to avoid overturning of the train. It might be possible that when there is no super elevation and there is a circular path, so the train or vehicle may get overturned. So to avoid the overturning of the train, transition curve is provided. Next reason is to minimize wear and tear of rail section to unusual friction at point of kerning. So to minimize wear and tear of rail section due to unusual friction at point of turning. So these are the 4 reasons why transition curve is provided. So now we further move for in the transition curve. So it is one of the frequently asked question that calculate the length of transition curve. So there are different criteria for the calculation of length of transition curve. So we will see all these criteria one by one. So first criteria that we are having for the length of transition curve is by adopting definite rate of super elevation. Here we are having the first criteria, that is by adopting definite rate of super elevation. So suppose the definite rate of super elevation is adopted as 1 in n. The value of n varying from 300 to 1000. So in the question they will give you that the definite rate of super elevation is adopted as 1 in n. So how you can calculate the length of transition curve? So that you can calculate as L, that is the length of transition curve. L will be equals to n into h upon 100, and this will come in meters. So this is the formula for length of transition curve, that is nh upon 100 into meter. This is the first criteria. This is by adopting definite rate of super elevation, and h is the amount of super elevation in centimeters. Just remember all these units very carefully, that h is the amount of super elevation and it is written in centimeters, and the length of curve that is coming is in meters. So length of transition curve is L, that equals to nh upon 100. Again I am saying that just remember all these units very carefully. Next criteria that we are having for the length of transition curve is by considering arbitrary time rate of super elevation. So by using this criteria, length of transition curve is L equals to h into v upon x, where h is the amount of super elevation, v is the speed in meters per second, x is the time rate in centimeters per second. It varies from 2.5 to 5 centimeter per second. So This is the second criteria according to which length of transition curve, that is L, is given by h into v upon x. Different notations are having different meaning. X is a time rate in centimeters per second. Its values varies from 2.5 to 5 and the unit is centimeter per second. So in the question you will get different data about the different criteria, and according to that you have to calculate the length of transition curve. So the next criteria for the length of transition curve is by rate of change of radial acceleration. So by considering rate of change of radial acceleration, length of transition curve is given by L equals to V cube upon K into R, where L is the length of transition curve, V is the speed in meters per second, and K is the change of radial acceleration, and its unit is meter per second cube. So in total we have seen till now three criteria for the calculation of length of transition curve. This third one is by considering rate of change of radial acceleration. According to this, length is equals to V cube upon Kr, where L is the length of transition curve, V is the speed in meters per second, and K is the change of radial acceleration, and its unit is meter per second cube. So now we will see different numericals based on the different criteria for calculation of length of transition curve. So the first numerical for the length of transition curve is calculate the length of transition curve required in order to attain a maximum super elevation of 15 centimeter, assuming the rate of super elevation to be 1 in 400. So by reading the question you can see that which formula will be applicable. So easily you can see that here what is given, the rate of super elevation. So length of transition curve will be equals to 400, that is n into h upon 100. So length of transition curve is 400 into 15 upon 100. So this will give me the length of transition curve in meters. Here I told you that the value of h, that is the value of super elevation, that is 15 centimeter. So you will put the value of h in centimeter here, and you will get the value of the value of length of transition curve in meters. So I told you earlier also that remember the units very carefully. So it is simple. The length of transition curve in this numerical will be equals to 60 meter. Now we have the second numerical based on the length of transition curve. So this numerical is calculate the length of transition curve required in order to attain a maximum super elevation of 15 centimeter. Again the value of super elevation given to us in is 15 centimeter, assuming the rate of super elevation of 3 centimeter per second. In this case the rate of super elevation is given, that is 3 centimeter per second, and the speed of vehicle is 50 km per hour. So in this question the value of maximum super elevation is given, rate of super elevation is given, and the speed of vehicle is given. So the length of transition curve is equals to L, that into L equals to h into v upon x. So we will simply apply this formula, but first we will convert the velocity or the speed which is given to us in kilometer per hour. So the speed of vehicle is 50 km per hour. So I will convert this speed in meter per second. So in the first step, that is this step, we have converted the speed from kilometer per hour to meter per second. So this I got as 500 upon 36 meter per second. This I have converted the speed from kilometer per hour to meter per second. So in meter per second I got as the speed as 500 upon 36 meter per second. Again the formula for length, I know that the formula for length of transition curve is given by h into v upon x. So I will put the value of h, that is 15. The maximum super elevation given to us is 15 centimeter into 500 upon 36 upon 3, that is x. So the length of transition will come as 69.44 meter. So in this way I have calculated the length of transition curve, that is 69.44 meter. So till now we have seen the numerical based on the two criteria for the calculation of length of transition curve. Now we will see the next numerical based on the third criteria for the calculation of length of transition curve. So the given question is calculate the length of transition curve when the rate of radial acceleration is 30 centimeter per second cube. Allowable speed on the curve is 60 km per hour and the radius of the circular curve is 200 meter. So in this case the rate of radial acceleration is given, that is 30 centimeter per second cube. allowable speed is given, that is 60 km per hour, and the radius is given, that is 200 meter. So first of all I will convert the speed, that is in kilometer per hour in meter per second. So speed given to me is 60 km per hour. So this I am having 60, and I will convert this speed in meter per second. So I will get in meter per second is 16.66 meter per second. I have done nothing but just converted the speed in meter per second from kilometer per hour. Now k is given to me, that is the rate of change of radial acceleration, that is 30 centimeter per second cube. So I will convert this in meters. So I will divide by 100. So I will get k equals to 0.3 meter per second cube, and the radius given to me is in meters. So I will write as it is, that is 200 meters, and I will put all these values that I have converted in the formula. So the length of transition curve is given by v cube upon k into r. So I will put the value of v, that is 16.66 cube upon 0.3 into 200. So this will give me the length of transition curve as 77 meter. So first I have converted all the values in meter per second, and then I have calculated the value of length of transition curve. So length of transition curve is given by v cube upon kr, and that gives me the 77 meter as the length of transition curve. So this we have finished all the criteria for the calculation of length of transition curves. So now we have finished the horizontal curves. Now we'll move to the vertical curves. So what is vertical curves? When two different gradients meet at a point along a road surface, they form a sharp point at the apex. Unless this apex point is rounded off to form a smooth curve, no vehicle can move along that portion of the road. तो जैसा कि हमने हॉरिजॉन्टल कर्व में देखा था, दो अलग अलग अलाइनमेंट्स होते हैं और एक शार्प टर्न आता है. तो शार्प टर्न को अवॉइड करने के लिए वी यूज अ आर्क दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कर्व्स. सो सिमिलरली जब अलग अलग ग्रेडियंट अलग अलग स्लोप जब वर्टिकल प्लेन में मिलेंगे, सो वहां पे एक शार्प पॉइंट होगा जिसको अपेक्स पे एक शार्प पॉइंट हमें मिलेगा. सो unless this apex point is rounded off to form a smooth curve, जब तक हम इस apex point को एक स्मूथ कर्व से नहीं फॉर्म करेंगे, सो वहां से व्हीकल मूव नहीं हो पाएगा. अगर एक बहुत ही ऐसा शार्प सा पॉइंट हो जाएगा तो वहां से व्हीकल मूव नहीं हो पाएगा. सो व्हाट इज रिटन इन द फर्स्ट पॉइंट? व्हेन टू डिफरेंट ग्रेडियंट्स मीट एट अ पॉइंट along a road surface, they form a sharp point at the apex. Unless this apex point is rounded off to form a smooth curve, no vehicle can move along that portion of the road. जब तक इस apex point को हम एक स्मूथ कर्व से फॉर्म नहीं करेंगे, सो वहां से व्हीकल विल नॉट पास. सो फॉर द स्मूथ एंड सेफ रनिंग ऑफ व्हीकल्स, द मीटिंग पॉइंट ऑफ ग्रेडियंट इज राउंडेड ऑफ टू फॉर्म अ स्मूथ कर्व. अब वहां से स्मूथ मूवमेंट कराने के लिए जो मीटिंग पॉइंट है, जो एक अपेक्स पॉइंट हमें मिला है, द मीटिंग पॉइंट ऑफ दैट ग्रेडियंट इज राउंडेड ऑफ टू फॉर्म अ स्मूथ कर्व. वहां पे हम एक स्मूथ कर्व का फॉर्मेशन करेंगे इन अ वर्टिकल प्लेन. और ये जो फॉर्मेशन हमने किया है, दिस कर्व इज नोन एज वर्टिकल कर्व. So for the smooth and safe running of the vehicles, the meeting point of the gradient is rounded off to form a smooth curve in a vertical plane. This curve is known as vertical curve. Generally, the parabolic curves are preferred. Generally, vertical curves की अगर हम बात करें, so parabolic curve जो है वो preferred होते हैं. Now we have one of the important property of the vertical curves, that is the gradients. So if we will talk about the gradients, so the gradient is expressed in two ways. Gradients को जो है हम दो तरीके से एक्सप्रेस कर सकते हैं. So first method is as a percentage. Example 1%, 2%, etc. So you can express the gradients in percentage. That is, this gradient is 1%, 2%, etc. Second way to express the gradient is in 1 in n, as in 1 in n, where n is the horizontal distance and 1 represent vertical distance. So gradient को मैं दूसरा तरीके से रिप्रेजेंट करता हूँ, वो कर सकता हूँ 1 in n. अब यहाँ पे n जो होता है, n is the horizontal distance. सपोज अगर मैं n horizontal distance चलूंगा तो वर्टिकल में मैं 1 मूव हो जाऊंगा. So second way is as 1 in n, where n is the horizontal distance and 1 represent vertical distance. Example 1 in 100, 1 in 200, etc. So these are the two ways to express the gradients. Again, the gradient may be rise or fall. अब gradient जो है वो rise भी हो सकता है और fall भी हो सकता है. And up gradient is known as rise and is denoted by positive sign. अब gradient जो होता है उसको मैं rise बोलता हूँ और उसको मैं जो denote करता हूँ वो positive sign से denote करता हूँ. A down gradient is known as fall and is indicated by a negative sign. अब जो डाउन ग्रेडियंट होगा, जो ग्रेडियंट डाउन में है, that will be called as fall and it is indicated by a negative sign. So that is very simple. The rise is taken as positive and the down or the fall gradient is taken as negative sign. So now we have another characteristic of the vertical curve. So this one is the rate of change of gradients. So the characteristics of a parabolic curve is that the gradient changes from point to point, but the rate of change of grade remains constant. अब अगर हम किसी पैराबोलिक कर्व की बात करें, so उसका जो ग्रेडियंट होता है वो हर पॉइंट पे अलग अलग होता है, बट रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ ग्रेड रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट. बट जो उसका चेंज होने का जो रेट है वो हमेशा कांस्टेंट होता है. द कैरेक्टरिस्टिक्स ऑफ अ पैराबोलिक कर्व इज दैट द ग्रेडियंट चेंजेस फ्रॉम पॉइंट टू पॉइंट, बट द रेट ऑफ चेंज ऑफ ग्रेड रिमेन्स कांस्टेंट. बट जो रेट है चेंज का वो हमेशा कांस्टेंट रहता है. Hence, for finding the length of the vertical curve, the rate of change of grade should be an important considerations as this factor remains constant throughout the length of the vertical curve. अब क्योंकि rate of change of जो grade है वो हमेशा constant है, इसलिए जब length हम calculate करेंगे vertical curve C, so इसको हम एक important consideration लेंगे, या फिर ये जो factor है rate of change of grade, ये एक बहुत important factor वहाँ पे होगा. Generally, the recommended rate of change of grade is 0.1% per 30 meter at summits and 0.05% per 30 meter at sects. So generally the recommended rate of change of grade जो है वो 0.1% per 30 meter होता है summits पे, और sects पर जो उसकी वैल्यू होती है वो 0.05% per 30 meter होती है. summit और sects क्या होता है वो हम अगली स्लाइड में देखेंगे. So now we have the length of vertical curve. So the length of vertical curve is calculated by considering the side distance. To provide minimum side distance, a certain permissible rate of change of grade is determined and the length of vertical curve is calculated as follows. So this is the formula for length of vertical curve. Length अगर किसी vertical curve की आपको calculate करनी है, so उसका formula होता है change of grade upon rate of change of grade. It is simple. The length of vertical curve is change of grade upon rate of change of grade. So if you want to calculate the value of change of grade, so how you can calculate this? You can calculate by algebraic difference of grades. This we will see later. So length of vertical curve is equals to algebraic difference of grades upon rate of change of grades. So now we are having the numerical based on the calculation of length of vertical curve. So the question is find the length of vertical curve connecting two grades. First one is plus 0.5% and minus 0.4%, where rate of change of grade is 0.1%. So simple, in this case the grades of two curves are given and the rate of change of grade is also given. So as I told you the formula in the previous slide, length of vertical curve will be equals to 0.5 minus 0.04. So already this is in minus, this is down gradient, so it is in minus, so minus minus will become plus. So 0.5 minus 0.4 into 30 upon 0.1, so this will come as 0.9. 0.5 plus 0.4 will become 0.9 into 30, and this 0.1, if I will move this to numerator, so it will become 10. So I will get the final, the length of vertical curve as 270 meters. So in this way I have calculated the value of length of vertical curve, and that is 270 meter. Thanks a lot for watching the video. If you have any doubt, so you can contact me on this given mobile number, or you can send me your doubt on the given email ID, that is robinsinggurjar@systrec.ac.in. Thanks a lot for watching the video.